Hey everyone, welcome back, and in this video my aim is to do a little rant on Stripe and Razorpay. But before we get into that, let me set the context right. If my face does not give it away, I have been sleeping just for a couple of hours in the last 2 days because of this one change which I've been making on this weekend on codedamn to support both Stripe and Razorpay, and why it created a lot of problems for us. Let's go. If you're new here, make sure you leave a like, subscribe to the channel and hit the bell icon. This is free of cost and helps the channel grow. Okay, so if you're not living under a rock, you know that Stripe is a payment gateway you can use to receive payments, and similarly Razorpay is one. And you would know about Razorpay if you are from India, because Razorpay is like one of the most popular gateways over here. Now, simply speaking, what a payment gateway is, like if I click on this, for example, you're gonna see that we get a Razorpay subscribe pop-up box. If I go ahead and click on subscribe to Pro, we get redirected to Stripe's checkout page. This seems fine, right? But the problem here is that it is extremely hacky and very difficult to support multiple currencies across the world. And for a product like codedamn, where we receive a lot of requests from Nepal students, from US people, from Europe people, it becomes extremely important for us as a business to support not only just their native currencies, but also proper denominations of the charges we are making. For example, $20-30 in US is not a lot, but if you convert this equivalent into INR, it becomes a lot of money for a single month. So having purchasing power parity and everything in place is extremely important for us. And there is no explicit website or a magical solution, SaaS solution yet, at least of what I know, which automatically handles everything for you as a developer. If you want to get these nice worldwide currency level supports, either you would have to opt into a solution which automatically converts it, but again, it does not account for purchasing power parity or all those nice rounding up of numbers, or you would just have to bite the bullet and stick with a single currency or a couple of currencies. Second option is what most people do if they are going with Stripe or Razorpay or a gateway level implementation, where they would just pick INR or USD and they would pretty much show the whole world that pricing. But we don't want to do that. We want to make sure that it's easier for the end user to pay for the service. Now, this is where it gets tricky. Razorpay was our first solution. Razorpay was our first recommendation for codedamn. We implemented it, we tried it. It says it supports a lot of cards. It says it supports a lot of currencies. It says it supports India. So it might seem like a good choice, right? But the problem with Razorpay was, what I observed was a lot of international transactions actually failed to go through Razorpay. Some would go through, but a lot would fail. I would get queries from customers, and this is, by the way, I'm talking about this from the last year. I was randomly talking to people, and people would say that, hey, my card works on Netflix and Netflix subscriptions and everything, but it is not going through your payment provider. So obviously something is wrong with the payment gateway, right? Either the trust between the payment gateway and the bank is not there, or something is happening. So the idea of using Razorpay for international transactions was soon, not feasible because a lot of transactions were failing. So that is why we had to introduce Stripe. Now, Stripe is an amazing platform. It is beautiful. It is API rich, it is built for developers, and I absolutely love working with Stripe. But Stripe has a major flaw. Major problem with Stripe is that it does not support UPI payments. Now, UPI is, you can think about this as a very common way of doing small transactions in India, and most people in India don't use cards. They use UPI to send and receive money. Right? So if you are on a shop in India, you would not swipe your card. You would actually scan a QR code and pay via UPI. That's how it works in India. And that's the most common thing to implement on your website also if you want to increase conversions. Razorpay supports that. Stripe does not support it. And it says that it supports it in beta, and the beta is closed beta. I have applied it. I have also been in talks with the Stripe team, but it has been a few months since we have been talking, and we have just been talking. So UPI is such an integral part of being a payment gateway in India. It is like very hard to sell something at scale without having all those integrations in place. So one thing was clear, we needed Razorpay for UPI, but we also needed Stripe because internationally cards were failing on Razorpay. Now it was time to maintain two payment providers. The second thing which I absolutely hate about Razorpay, the first being, it does not support international cards that well. The second thing about Razorpay is that its documentation is horrible. And I'm so sorry for people who are working in Razorpay or who like Razorpay, but that is the absolute truth. It's just horrible. I mean, the first thing if I would be doing if I was running a fintech SaaS product is actually document the developer APIs, right? I mean, what do you expect developers to do if your APIs are inconsistent? I mean, the documentation are less, there are no tutorials, the SDKs are outdated, and no TypeScript, no type safety, responses are bad, webhooks have weird timings of firing, and it's basically a mess out there as a developer if you're trying to use Razorpay. And you will feel that 10 times more once you move from a Stripe developer ecosystem to Razorpay. I mean, Stripe is optimized for developers. Razorpay seems like developers is their last customer, people who they just have to support somehow because of some legal obligation or something, but they are absolutely not interested in supporting developers at all. So that's one thing I don't like about Razorpay as well. Now the problem is that how do you support two payment gateways in a single website where you have 3 ways to pay, at least for now? So you see, we have one way of paying via subscription. The second way is actually buying a full learning path on codedamn. And the third way is actually buying an individual course itself. For example, if I want to buy Tailwind CSS, I can buy it at a certain price. Now, this might not seem a lot, but technically speaking, it's a huge thing to do if you want to maintain this in a scalable and a robust way. So the way it used to work before now is that it'll automatically detect your country, and based on that it'll just, if it is India, then it'll shoot Razorpay. If it is not India, then it'll shoot the Stripe SDK. But the problem here was, again, because we wanted to support more countries, more currencies, more formats, this would not scale very well with let's say if somewhere down the line we wanted this price to appear in euro also. Earlier we would just support rupee and USD, but now with adding more formats, it would not work very well. And mind you that Razorpay, because it's an Indian payment gateway, it's actually cheaper for us in terms of transaction fees. So it's actually easy and cheaper and better for us if we get our payments through Razorpay always compared to Stripe. I mean, the developer experience and everything is fine, but at the end of the day, once we have both the payment gateways set up properly and fine, if both are working, then we would want, from a developer, from a business point of view, for payments to flow through Razorpay. So earlier the case was messy, like detecting everything on the country and trying to do it ourselves with a not so nice looking checkout flow as well. Now with the update which I've been working, which is the crux of this video, which I've been working for a couple of days now, and this would be live very soon, allows you to just basically throws you and redirects you to a singular checkout page, right? So if you subscribe to a half-yearly program, let's say, you're actually redirected to a checkout page, right? Now here, it might seem very familiar to the Shopify checkout page because, a lot of inspiration has been taken from there. But you get the idea that here, we can now support 2 payment gateways. We can say that, hey, this is your amount. We want to charge you $47.99 every 6 months. Now, either you can pay it through Stripe or you can pay it through Razorpay, which supports UPI. And most probably a lot of people from India would choose UPI because that's the option which works. But still, if you are from non-Indian country, or if there is some other currency over here which does not support UPI, then we can just remove this option. So I can add my name, Mehul, and I can add my email as well. And one thing you can see over here, the added benefit of this complete refactor is that now we can also support payments directly without actually allowing the person to even sign up or log in into codedamn. Because the moment they complete this payment, we're going to create their account on our own in our webhooks call. So you can see, obviously I'm in Stripe test mode at the moment, but in the production mode, you will see once you fill out these details, you would have your account emailed to you if you're not logged in. If you're logged in, of course, then you'll automatically be redirected. But this singular checkout flow, what it does is that it is now linked to basically every page, from subscriptions to, let's say if I go to learning path, full stack, let's say if I want to buy this full stack learning path, it's again linked to the same checkout flow. I can select UPI over here. I can enter my name again, email ID, and I can go through Razorpay this time. And you're going to see that we get the Razorpay checkout embedded flow this time, which is much nicer compared to that little box. And just like I said, because the amount is in INR, we have tons of payment options. And in India, at least, this UPI over here and any wallet, for example, it's really the deal, right? This is something which we needed for a very long time, for people to pay in INR on codedamn. And of course, like I said, this also works with a singular course. Let's say I go to this course, which is again paid on the staging environment, but I think it's actually free on the production one. So you can see I can even go ahead and purchase an individual course. So this complete checkout page logic with webhooks, with the correct integration on backend, frontend, Next.js, it took me like almost a full day, like 24 hours to complete. And finally, it's almost there. There are a few rough edges to fix. And once that is done, this would be live. And the unified way of redirecting anyone with any item, which is we just have 3 at the moment: the pro subscription, the learning path, and an individual course. It streamlines it a lot, and it's easier for us now to even add further gateways, further payment gateways, or maybe like even embed, the card payment just right over here within the website flow itself, instead of redirecting the person to Stripe. So you see, this is actually a pain to do, because as an individual, as a developer, as someone, if you're working on your own SaaS product or something, it's almost impossible to build a fully custom checkout with all the things in a reasonable amount of time. That's why we rely on these services like Stripe and Razorpay. But when you actually look deep enough into these services as well, you're gonna see that all of these services are actually still missing a lot of things where it comes down to country specific needs, right? I'm just talking about India in this case with Stripe. I'm definitely sure this is not the best option in Nepal, for example. They might have a different payment system of their own. Similarly for South Africa, for example. Similarly for some other country which supports their own payment system. So yeah, it's impossible to support everything, but slowly and steadily you can climb that ladder and make sure your business is accessible to a lot more countries. Most companies won't have this problem because they are usually specific to a certain region, US or India or something else. But if you are trying to go global from a country like India, you're gonna probably have to create your own checkout flow. So yep, that's pretty much it for this video. Hopefully you like this. You're gonna see this checkout flow of codedamn very soon live on codedamn.com. I'll leave a few links in the description once that is done, so that you can start paying in any currency and with any payment gateway you want. Make sure you leave a comment on what do you think about this new checkout gateway, checkout flow. And of course, you have just seen the video yet, but you'll have the link soon. And I'm gonna see you in the next video really soon. If you're still watching this video, make sure you comment down in the comment section, I watched this video till the end. Also, if you're not part of codedamm's Discord community, you're missing out a lot on events which we organize on a weekly basis to code. You already know the drill. Make sure you like the video, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and thank you so much for watching.